We're going to talk about how you can be unproductive but still reach freelance writing success. It sounds counterintuitive, it sounds a little weird, but there's a whole bunch of processes that you need time and energy and space to build before they take off like a rocket ship. And I'm Mandy Ellis. I'm a six-figure freelance writer and coach, and I help other writers build high-earning businesses they adore with schedule, freedom, and flexibility. So we're going to talk about this, going through each process that might seem unproductive at first, but it really helps you reach freelance writing success. So number one here, busy bees don't make the honey, okay? So busy bees aren't gonna make the honey. This is the idea where you are doing a lot of activity, but you're not being very, very productive. You are doing a lot of things where you feel like this is just activity. We want to make sure we're taking the right actions. So that's the first thing. You need to make sure that if you are being a busy bee, that you're making the honey and the money by doing the right actions. And this is also time management. So you need to make sure you're spending your time on the appropriate actions that actually move the needle in your business. But the other piece here is that there are times where you will be a busy bee. You feel like you're in the trenches, you feel like you're going through the sludge, and it feels very unproductive. But there are parts of your freelance writing business where you have to build the framework, you have to build the foundation, or else you're not going to reach freelance writing success. You have to build the process of finding your clients. You have to make sure you're understanding who your ideal clients are and how to find a big list of them and how to cut that down and how to send your LOIs. And the same thing with magazines. You need to figure out who pays what, why this magazine's a good fit, how to do the pitches, then you can ramp that up. So at first it seems unproductive to kind of figure out how all these Legos go together. But once you kind of build your Lego building, then you can add all the people and add all the fun accents. So you are going to be a busy bee, but you want to make sure you're not being a busy bee without the honey. You're not spending time just being active. You need to spend time on the right actions that move the needle in your business. And you also need to understand there will be times in your business where you're just a busy bee. It will feel like you're trudging through the sludge, you're putting all the pieces together, but it feels unproductive at the time, but you really start to scale and take off like a rocket ship once you get these pieces in place. And we'll go over in here a little chart that I always use with my students that I think will help here. The second thing we're going over is you need to work tactically and you need to take action. You need to move forward. So there are things that you have to understand the right tactics. You have to understand why this blog post does what it does, or why this case study format makes sense for your client, or why your clients have these certain goals, or why your website and LinkedIn need to speak a certain language, why you need a template for your LOIs, why are we sending 50 to 75 LOIs a month or pitches, why are we doing that? Those tactical things, when you're learning them, they feel slow. They feel unproductive because you're not hearing everything immediately. It's not taking off immediately. It is something that is I always think about that John Maxwell quote that says consistency compounds. So if you are consistently taking the right action, you are working tactically, you will then eventually that consistency compounds over time. So let's say an easy number, you were sending 100 LOIs a month. So throughout the year, you sent 1,200, and then the next year you would have sent 2,400, and then next year you would send 3,600. That compounds so that those leads can get back to you, right? They could get back to you in a 6 months or a year. They could get back to you tomorrow. But we need to make sure that we're working that tactical system. It feels unproductive. You're just like, why am I sending hundreds of these? I'm not getting any answers. The deal is that you're only going to get 10 to 30% answers. And it also depends on the time of year. It depends on your niches. It depends on your clients. It depends on your consistency. But you want to make sure you're doing that. And it feels unproductive. There's plenty of times I wanted to quit marketing and wanted to give up on it. But it really is something where you have to take action. You have to keep using that consistency compounds. Because I've had someone answer an LOI in 5 seconds and 5 years. Someone kept it for 5 years. So you never know when someone's going to answer, and it feels like everything should just work. It feels like you send these LOIs and everything should just work, but it doesn't. It's really something that over time you do all these LOIs, and at the time you're like, this doesn't feel like it's going to work out. Like, ugh, this is so frustrating. But the more you do it and the more you use that compounding factor, the more leads you have, the more choosy you get to be, the better your prices, better prices and clients you get to charge and work with. all of these things really end up paying off in the long term for freelance writing success. And without working on these specific tactical pieces in my own business, I would not have been working with the clients or making the money or doing the cool schedule things or building other parts of my business. It just wouldn't happen. Let's talk about number 3 here. And before I get to number 3, if you want to learn more tactical stuff, if you want to go a little bit deeper on taking action and what things we're taking action on, I have a free live masterclass coming up this week. It's my very last one. This is the last one I'm doing for 2024. If you go to mandyellis.com/masterclass3, you can sign up. It's my very last one. I hope that you will join me. We are going over the tactical, the practical, the action-taking stuff. I'm going deeper with you than I can here on YouTube because I can condense it into one class. So I hope you will show up for that. It's free, and if you show up live, you get a show up live bonus. So I'm giving you something, a freebie that I only offer during the masterclass and previously only offered to Wealth Lab students. I'm giving it to you for free. So if you go to mandyellis.com/masterclass3, you can sign up and join me. Now we're going to get to point 3. We're going to talk about how we're going to leverage our skills, experience, knowledge, and expertise. This is something that I have a conversation with many, many times with writers. There is this idea that when they leave their full-time job or they switch from magazines to content marketing or vice versa, or they switch to content strategy, that magically all of their skills, knowledge, experience, and expertise disappears. It just gets erased. That's not true. This is this thing where when you're getting into freelance writing and you don't have clients or clips, it seems unproductive to focus on your skills and to focus on the types of content that your clients are working on and their goals. It seems like you're like, wait, I should just get more clips. I should just go write for free or build a Medium blog or build a blog on my website, like create all these clips in the dark. No, no. You need to leverage what you already have. And almost every writer I talk to has great writing skills. They have plenty of experience to bring to the table. They have lots of great attributes that they can highlight to their clients that really matter in that niche or for that type of content. And you put that in your LOI, you put that in your website, you put that in your LinkedIn, and you have kind of this really nice ecosystem that leverages all the things you're bringing from other experiences or jobs or projects that you've done in the past to help you reach those clients, reach those projects, get to the next step. So it seems kind of unproductive to kind of start with nothing. It seems unproductive to start with no clips and no clients and not try to build things for free or try to create an audience. What I want you to do is understand that your clients are coming from a different place. They don't want stuff that's just created just to be created. They want things that make sense for their audience and why they do that work. And really the way that we're doing that is we're connecting those skills and experiences and knowledge and expertise to why they're creating the content. What do they care about? Why are they doing content marketing, or why are they creating more content for the magazine? It's not just like to create more content, right? It's for all the things they care about, right? It's website, it's web traffic, it's SEO, it's leads, it's downloads, it's clicks, it's shares, it's sales, it's all that good juicy stuff. I want you to start connecting your skills and the things you're bringing to the table, your good attributes, your knowledge, your past history of working on projects, to your LOIs, your LinkedIn, your website, to connect those things, to make sure that you're leveraging those things to your clients, what your clients care about, their pain points. Those things are really important. And it seems, like I said, I talk to a lot of writers where they think that the goal, the main thing is a writing sample. It's not. Not even when you're getting into content strategy. I got into content strategy with no samples, with no experience, no samples, but I knew what they needed help with. I knew the deliverables. I know why they're doing it and how to do it and how to explain that to them. That's the thing they care about. It's not that you have 8,000 samples. They're not even going to read 8,000 samples. They'll read 1 to 3. So you want to make sure you're kind of paying attention to those things. Number 4 here. Number 4. This is the chart. So this is the chart I mentioned earlier on that we're going to talk about. So this is the idea that I think we're kind of like forgetting when we go through all of the stuff in our business. So this is the effort and time diagram. Okay. So effort and time. So over time, right, you start this first part of your business where you're like, oh my gosh, everything takes all my effort and a ton of time, right? This is the time is like time in business, like how many years you've been in business. So your first few years of business, or your first year when you're trying to like do everything and you're kind of messing it up, that's where it takes all your effort and all your time, and it's really a condensed period. But over this period of time, you start realizing like, wait, it doesn't take as much effort. As I'm getting more experience, as I work with more clients, now I can use this part, all this extra time, to do whatever I want. You can work with more clients, you can charge more money and take fewer projects, you can take vacations, you can take a nap, you can walk your dogs. This is this concept that I teach in the masterclass, in the Free Live Masterclass, but also to my Wealth Lab students. We go over this super deep because this is the key. This is the key to making more money in less time, but also the key to making more money in fewer hours every week is systems, processes, and specific action tactics, right? Those things are here. We put all those in place, and it takes time, it takes effort. It's something that you're putting in the sweat equity, but man, does that framework pay off over all these years, right? Over all this extra time that you're freelance writing, it pays off in all of this. This is vacation time, rest time, downtime, party time, whatever you want to do. And this is also how you can transition different parts of your business, right? So that can be your transition where you get here and you're like, I want to do content strategy. So part of your business is here, but then you start back up here for content strategy, but you still have all this space from your current business to start back up here working on content strategy projects. So I want you to kind of understand that this is how we build a lucrative business. This is how we get more schedule freedom. And it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't understand and they forget. They feel like the beginning part is just supposed to be easy, or they're like, oh, I just I spackle this thing in place and magically it works. No, it's going to be unproductive and messy and dirty and sweaty for a while, and then it's going to pay off. So this is something that when I put this in place with my students in the Wealth Lab, they go from working 60 hours a week to working 30 hours a week. And I've had multiple students working a ton of hours, going to 30 or 35 hours a week, because of these strategies. They're really important to understand that, yeah, at first it's kind of like digging around, we're trying to figure it out. We're putting a lot of spackle in, or we're putting all the Legos in place, but then boom, it figures itself out, right? You start getting the processes, the systems, the tactics, the templates all start paying off. And then you have more time freedom to do whatever you want while you're still making good money, or you can make more money. So all of these things are really important. Last thing we're going to do here is a question. This was the question I referenced in the last video, that we're going to talk about writing skills, because this is something that happens all the time where people are worried. They're busy bees worried about the writing skills and not making that honey. Okay. So the question says, do you have, or can you recommend a course about how to write for the web, like articles and blog posts, or mastering all your writing skills needed for the web? I'm a newbie and would like to master the craft of online writing and unlearn college essay type writing. Second, is there any chance you can make a video about how to research or do something for writing an article? What are the reliable and trustworthy and authoritative sources available apart from the AI garbage that floods Google? And third, is B2B writing any different from B2C writing? Which one has higher demand? So let's break these things down. So I think your best bet for learning how to write for whatever it is, it's not really writing for the web. There is a college essay type thing, but your best bet is to read widely. This is something I recommend over and over again in like for my own students, but I do it all the time in my business. You should be reading things you like, magazines, writers that you like, people, like I have a bunch of people in different magazines. I love their work. I read it all the time. You should be reading different things from businesses you like, types of niches you want to be in. So I read a lot of food articles, food business articles, food marketing, or travel articles. And I read magazines and trade publications and different types of companies and businesses. That's way better because that's actively on the web. The idea to take a course of writing on the web, to me, seems a little backward, because there's so much stuff already on the web that you can read that is your client's stuff. You think about who you want to work with, go read their content. If you want to work with a business that's like Nike, go read Nike's content, go find their competitors, go look at the brands you like and read their content, their emails, their blog posts, their guides, their case studies. And then as you're kind of refining down your niches, and you know the types of projects you're going to work on, now we can start making client lists. And then as we're kind of doing our marketing, we're reading their content every single time. We're reading their content every single website we go to for a potential client. That gives you so much more information. And the second piece of that is that every client thinks of it differently. So I've said this many times. I've had clients I've had clients say, I want a white paper or a case study, or I want a thought leadership article, or I want blah, blah, blah. And they give me the example. I say, great, can you send me an example? And they send me an example, and I'm like, that's not that thing at all. So every client has a different idea of what an article is, or a blog post, or a case study, or a white paper. They're all have these different ideas. It's way better to get clients and make money and then ask them for examples, and then you can follow the example. Literally follow the example. If they don't have an example, you go find one and send it to them and say, I like this. Do you like this? Does this make sense? So we want to make sure we have an example to work off for every project that we do. And usually asking your clients, hey, do you have an example? Do you have, not if you have one internally, like they have one already on their website or somewhere at their company, or can they go find one that they like to send to you? Then we're working off that. And most of the time, like I said, I meet writers that are so afraid that their skills aren't good enough, or that they need to improve before they get clients, and their writing skills are great. So I can almost guarantee, out of all the writers I've talked to, your writing skills are good. They're going to improve over time. Writing skills are a constantly sharpening. You're always sharpening the knife. Always. I'm still sharpening the knife. I still make dumb mistakes. I still get lost in the weeds. So it's not that you're just like taking a course and you're like, I'm approved for writing on the web. Really start honing this in with brands and strategies, and understand that you're writing. Like, if you can see similarities between the types of writing that you're looking at and the quality of your work, you're going in the right direction. So really read widely, read a lot of stuff, read in your niches. I think that really helps a bunch, and really understand that you're going to get examples from clients. Follow the example. So second, it says, I have made a video on this. I forget what, I'll put a card in here. So I'll put a card in this video for doing research for writing specific articles. So I'll put the card in here. So I did make a video on that. The other thing too is that B2B is different than B2C, and it's not about demand. They have equal demand. I'm sure if we want to get down in the hole, like, B2B case studies have more demand than B2C case studies, because consumers don't really read case studies. So there's that. But it's not about demand. It's really about understanding what you want to write and your clients and the types of content they're working on. And is that client a B2B or B2C? So B2B cares about different things than B2C. So they're very different in terms of goals. So B2C is usually like informing them, or giving them helpful tips, or teaching them about a product, or helping them understand a concept. So consumers, right, B2C, they have totally different goals, right? They're like, I need this app because I need to connect to my calendar, or I need this pair of shoes because I want to go running. And that kind of marketing or content marketing copy that we're writing, or even a blog post that's not copywriting, all of those things have a different goal. The business part, B2B companies care about results because it's a business, right? Their business is focused on like actual traffic and making sales, and like, how is this product or service, right? How is this B2B product or service going to help my business as a business owner? So the business selling to businesses, B2B, is going to have very different sets of goals, and it's going to have very different approaches to how they talk about their product or service. So it's really different in terms of goals. The tone, style, structure, not different. I mean, they're pretty much the same. They're going to be different for each company. So each company you work with will have a different way that they want to do that material. But the writing part is really just like, think about it. I always think about it as like, you're looking through different like lenses. Like if you put like a piece, like I think they did this on like the Magic School Bus, right? Where they were teaching them about prisms and colored light. So like if you put a different piece of cellophane, or like that colored paper, you put like purple over a flashlight, or blue, or you put red. That's how I think about writing. It's like, okay, this client wants purple light. This client wants red light. It's still a flashlight. We're just putting a different lens on it. So it's kind of, it's I know the idea seems big and scary, or it seems complicated. It's really not. Your clients are going to take their own approaches, and you will have clients who are B2B who write more like B2C. You will have B2C places that write more like B2B. It's really about goals. It's really about why they're creating that content. So like a B2C, like a consumer audience, wouldn't really read a white paper or a case study. They might read something similar to a case study, but not so long or in depth. B2B is it can be way heavier in case studies and white papers. Consumers might more read a guide, or they might be more likely to read a blog post or watch a video. So it would be the type of content that's created and then the goal of that content that would really make the difference. And I wouldn't focus on demand. It's just so different by niche and by clients, and that's not really how we figure it out. So this is something often that I run into where it's like, oh, I'll just pick the best niche with the best type of writing and the best projects and the thing that's in demand. That's not how it works. You carving your own path of like, who do I want to work with? How can I leverage my skills, experience, knowledge, and expertise? How do I pick my niches? What projects make sense in those niches and for me? And then really working the ecosystem of sending your LOIs and fixing your website and LinkedIn and really all the stuff I teach in the Wealth Lab. That's the key. That's why it's flexible and adaptable. It's not about demand. It's not about niche. It's not about this is better than that. It's not about, oh, you should be a copywriter because they make more than content writers, or you should. It's not about that. It's really about setting up a bunch of picking and choosing from the grocery store the types of things that make the most sense for your specific business and goals. And then you really working that system to build your business and something that you really actually like working in every day, instead of being like, oh, I picked writing about credit cards and I hate it, but I might make money, and then you quit like a year later because it's terrible. We don't want to do that. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Don't forget, last masterclass of 2024 is coming up. MandyEllis.com/masterclass 3. It is on Wednesday, September 25th. And then the Wealth Lab will be open. The Wealth Lab's open right now. You have a few days left to enroll. So if you go to MandyEllis.com/course, MandyEllis.com/course, you can check it out. I hope you will join me in the masterclass, and you'll check out the Wealth Lab and see if that's a really great next step for your business. And if you have anything in here that you feel like you have a question, or you have a way that you were sort of unproductive in the beginning, but now you've reached a different level of your business, or you have troubles with time management, leave me a comment and let me know what's kind of going on. How are you managing your processes? How are you managing your time? How are you maybe building? Maybe you're in their unproductive phase and you're trying to get out of it and you're trying to figure that out. So leave me some questions. Let me know how that's going for you. I hope this is helpful, and I will see you next time.